we're good. So let's begin. So let's still do a warm-up. So let's still bring ourselves a little bit taller first. So let's kind of shake everything out. Gotta help heart rate up a little bit first. Okay, but see if you can relax your arms a little bit, relax your shoulders. See if you can just kind of move in different ways, kind of pump your heels a little bit, move your feet. So let's just stand back a little bit. Okay, and let's do our usual. So let's look up and down a few times. Kind of pay attention to what we're moving. So we're moving the neck first. Okay, and same thing in the neck, but this time kind of forward and back a little bit, focusing on looking the same height, or keep our gaze kind of level, okay, but pushing your head backwards a little bit. Okay, and we can even use the hands a little bit. So we're going to just apply a little bit of pressure or a little bit of resistance where we're pushing against our hand a little bit. So my hand is behind. I'm just lightly resisting this motion a little bit as I go side to side. Okay, just for fun, see if we can move your head side to side. It's much easier if you have a mirror. Let's see if you can kind of shift your head side to side a little bit. So we're moving our neck in slightly different ways. So once again, it's much easier if you have a mirror. Okay, but just try our best, just for fun as well. Okay, and same idea, but this time we're going to lightly kind of resist that motion a little bit. So we're just going to press at most medium, 50% straight, and hold for 3, 2, 1. Okay, and relax. Same thing on the other side. So lightly just resisting the head as you push your head sideways, holding for 3, 2, 1. Okay, and come back. Okay, let's tilt your head sideways a little bit, moving our shoulders up and down, but focusing on reaching downwards, feeling a stretch on the side of the neck. Okay, let's do about 3 to 5 times. You can go at your own pace. When you're ready, pause in the middle, and then go towards our side. Same idea, reaching towards the floor, creating more distance between our ears and our shoulders. Okay, 3 to 5 times. Okay, make sure we're still breathing deeply. Okay, and let's look side to side. Okay, and let's rotate the rest of the spine. Just swing the arms, reaching towards the opposite hip. Okay, and let's focus on rotating the lower body a little bit more. So see if you can point your kind of belly button side to side a little bit. Maybe kind of lightly lift the outside edge or even the inside edge of our feet a little bit. Okay, and let's go into a hip circle all the way around. Relaxing the upper body as we usually do. And same thing in the other direction. Okay, be gentle with this one, but see if you can just draw kind of small circles with more of your knees. So try to slightly, just very slightly push it forward, not too much. Okay, straighten it back out in the back. Okay, same idea, going the other way. If this bothers your knees in any way, just stop and either make the circle much smaller again, or just skip this part altogether. Okay, and let's hold on to a wall. We'll work on the ankles a little bit more today. So holding on to something. This is much easier if you have shoes back, if you have your shoes on. But point your toes back, aiming it, I guess, towards the back. And you're gonna lightly kind of push it forward, or kind of push it towards the ground, or kind of almost dragging it forward. And you should feel like the top of your foot, or the front of the ankles kind of opening up a little bit maybe, or feel a little bit of a stretch. So you're just gonna squeeze, relax, squeeze, relax. And we're gonna do the same thing on the other foot. Okay, next one, kind of similar. This one, if you ball out your big toe, don't just skip this one. But same idea, but you're gonna try to very lightly kind of pull it inwards pretty much, or kind of, I guess it's still called it inwards. So the same idea as before, but instead of kind of pulling it front to opening the front of the ankle, we're opening the inside, I guess, of our ankle. Okay, and that's kind of, if you want. This is much easier if you have shoes on, but see if you can draw a circle It might not be very comfortable if you're doing it on high ground or if you don't have shoes on. But you can anchor your toes on the ground and just kind of lightly kind of go a full circle around your toes, slightly pulling it in different direction. So I can't really push too hard because it's kind of uncomfortable for me when I'm not wearing shoes and I'm on a little bit harder surfaces. Okay, and let's go back to the top of the body. So let's just open and close our shoulders again. And let's go front to, I guess, back to upwards. Just letting someone in. So kind of point your thumbs towards the back, both in this direction and also this direction. So your thumb pretty much is always pointing backwards. Okay, and let's squeeze the elbows in. You're trying to push the thumbs back. Okay, and let's do something with the wall today. So if you have a wall, you can do this. If you don't, you can just kind of stand and do the same thing. But you're gonna get your elbows up. Okay, and you can just gonna see, you can feel your front of your shoulders and see what it's doing. So try to see if you can keep your shoulders on the wall and just kind of bring your hands up. Okay, and also downwards as well. So try not to kind of lean forward or kind of slouch forward. Don't do this too hard, but see how far you can go from the upwards direction and also the downwards direction. Okay, but you can kind of gently just go between the two directions. Once again, if it kind of is painful in any way, just back off. So it might be painful from here as you go down. Okay, but just repeat a few times, and you can do the same thing on that side. So you might find one side. So this side for me, I feel a little more tightness going up, but my hands can go a little bit further down. Okay, but it's careful once again, you're not kind of slouching forward. So we're just rotating just from the shoulders. Again, take it easy the first couple repetitions. So the idea is that we're only moving this joints here instead of sometimes when we are a little bit restricted here, we might start to do things like that just to so we can function in daily life. Okay, so let's just the elbows and the wrists again. Try to open up the palm at the bottom, maybe make a fist at the top. Okay, and let's try to draw circles at the elbow. So let's try to bring the elbows close together, bring the elbows a little high up, bring your elbows out and back down. See if you can draw bigger circles as you feel more comfortable, maybe a little more warmed up. And you can always change directions. Okay, working within our pain-free range of motion. Okay, but do try to see if you can expand it. So try to push it up a little bit more, try to get your elbows to be a little close together. So it might take a little bit of muscular contraction to do so. And just a basic wrist circle. Okay, and the fingers as usual, just pretty much move all the joints. So the tips of our fingers, get side to side. Okay, and even just kind of rotate it all the way front to back. There are many joints in the hand. Sometimes this can get them move a little bit. Okay, and the hips, let's just do what we did before. So holding onto a wall or a chair, you're just going to push the legs a bit back and step over something. So just going to slowly see if you can lift your knees a little bit higher, stepping over a bigger object. And the same thing, but just a couple kind of backwards. So lifting it up and then kind of kicking someone behind you a little bit. Focusing on the back part. So do try to see if you can reach a little further back. How high you go up at the top. Usually we're okay in the direction. So try to see if you can focus on really reaching it back a little bit more. Okay, same thing on the way back. See, don't worry about how high you have to lift in the front. Focusing on pushing a heel back. So really kick someone behind you. instead. Okay, the knee, let's lift it up. Let's check our balance as well. So once again, like they're holding on to something. Let's see if you can just rotate your foot side to side while keeping the leg up. So once again, imagine holding on to something. Okay, and when you've done that, extend and flex the knee. Well, pretty much straighten or bend the knee. Okay, and lastly, stir apart with your kind of knee in the same place pretty much. So I'm not swinging my leg entirely around. See if I can just keep my knee in the same place and go all the way around. Okay, shake it out. Same idea on the other side. So legs up first, hold on to as much as you need to, and just try to see point your toes up as far forward or far to the outside as you can, as far to the inside as you can. Okay, and straighten and bend the knee. Might feel a little bit of stretch underneath. Okay, and then kind of combine the motion, stir apart with our knee in kind of the same place. Okay, just once again, imagine holding on to something. Okay, and shaking things out. Let's go on to our aerobic part. So once again, if you have a towel, you can grab it. Just changing things up. If you see my other videos, you probably know what I'm doing next. But let's start our clock. But let's also warm up slowly first. So let's just march on the spot for now. If you feel comfortable, slowly increase how fast you're moving your arms and the legs. So the towel is just to act as a kind of a weight that we can kind of throw around. So the first thing we're going to do is just to warm up our shoulders a little bit more. So we are just going to be swinging the towel kind of front to back. If you don't have anything, you can imagine you're throwing something around. Or you have 2 water bottles, you can probably also hold on to that. But let's just swing our towels up and down like this. Okay, and let's try to go a little bit diagonal next. So we are just going to go from one hip to the, I guess, top of the shoulders. Okay, and change direction. So okay, and let's try to go side to side a little bit. So let's warm up the lower body by just swing it side to side. Move your feet as well as you do this. Okay, so let's increase our pace a little bit. So instead of slowly, see if you can go a little bit faster. So for this, remember not to just twist your spine, actually move your feet. So you go a little faster, or go a little faster for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, and we're gonna go back and just set a motion, but kind of a little bit of a break. We're gonna draw across in front. So hopefully the noise of the towel is not too distracting, but let's do this motion. And we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna go a little bit faster for 10 seconds. So anchor ourselves down, move your arms a little bit bigger, motion or a little faster at least. So we're gonna go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job. Okay, and we're just going to go back to this cross motion again. Okay, take a breath in during this little break. Okay, so next one, same idea, but we are going to do a little bit bigger motion. So we're going to try to turn our body side to side. So it looks something like this. So really turn the entire body, bigger motion this time. So go as fast as you feel comfortable, but see if you can draw a really big cross or really big X. So let's do this. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, and just back to marching. So kind of relax your hands a little bit maybe. You can hold on and shake out your hands just because we've been gripping that for a little while. Okay, so let's try to increase our marching speed as we progress, as we're on to our 3rd minute now. Okay, so next one, we are just going to be moving up and down, okay, but just in a little bit faster motion with the towels. Okay, so same idea, we're going to anchor ourselves down and we'll just go pretty quickly with our hands for, let's try another 10 seconds. Okay, and here we go. So a little faster, up and down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, and just back to marching again. Okay, just monitor how we're doing. Okay, so next one, we are going back to swinging up and down, but we're going to be using our hips a little bit more as well. So we're going to do a bigger motion. So instead of swinging kind of up and down like this, we're going to go a little further down and a little high up. So it's kind of like a hinge or a squat pattern. Okay, so it looks something like this, where you between your legs and step back up and going overhead. Okay, so we're just once again going to go 10 seconds. Okay, just as fast as you feel comfortable. And 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, and back to the marching on the spot. Okay, so let's break it up a little bit by just moving in front to back for a while. Okay, next one, same idea. So just going from side of the hip to the top of the shoulders, but once again, in bigger motion. So focus on either really going harder by swinging up, or you can do the opposite where you try very hard to swing it back down. So just bigger motion, with a little bit more force, using our legs a little bit. So it will look something like this. So you can either really try to swing up, swing down. Just remember to turn your hips as well so you're not twisting your spine. Okay, so let's try 10 seconds. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And back to the marching. Feel free to always to just give your grip a little bit of a rest while we keep our legs moving. And next one, same idea, just in the other direction. So you can either focus on swinging it harder up, or you can focus on swinging it harder downwards. Okay, so turn your feet and think of throwing something or chopping something. Okay, so 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And just back to the marching again. Okay, next one, we're going to go into putting a squat. So we'll be, once again, stopping our feet. We'll be squatting downwards, coming back up. Or meanwhile, we'll just be moving our hands up and down like this in a quicker motion. A reminder, get your hips a little wider. Sorry, get your knees a little bit wider than your hips. Get your knees to be in the same line as your feet. So don't be caving your knees inward. Don't come really too far. Should always be over the feet. Okay, so just a little, move your hands a little faster. Or the meanwhile, we'll be sticking our bum out, squatting down, coming back up. And let's do about 10 seconds again. So let's say this is 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, and back to the marching. We have 2 minutes left. Okay, let's focus on changing to a single side. And let's do a swing overhead again. But let's try to focus on jumping upwards almost. So we're still being squats. So we're just gonna go up, but see if you can go all the way up on your tippy toes and then try to swing it back down kind of quickly. Okay, so on the side, going up, down. Okay, almost like a jump. Okay, so let's have 5 more seconds of this. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And back to marching. That might be a little bit more tiring, but we just have 1 more just with the other side. Okay, so switching hands, same idea. Imagine you're actually jumping up, the downwards. Don't worry too much about how low you go. Just focus on kind of explosively going a little high up. Okay, so just our last one. Okay, and go up. So a little bit slower, maybe in the beginning first. But see if you can really swing the towel up quickly. Okay, 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, so the calves might also be a little bit tired. Okay, so we have, that was 10 minutes, so let's slowly slow back down. And we don't need a towel anymore, so feel free to drop it. Okay, so we might be trying that a little more just to do something different. It kind of like a parachute, so it adds a little bit of weight. But later on, we might see if you can do a little bit more complex patterns. Okay, but let's slow back down. Okay, and let's get ready for the resistance part. But let's maybe all grab a little bit of water. I'll take maybe like a minute rest. So I'm gonna grab a cup of water as well. So I'll be right back. If your heart rate is still feeling high, just keep walking. For today, we'll be still using the bands. We always still good to have a chair for either balance or just to anchor the weight down. So we'll still be doing 1 upper body, 1 lower body, kind of a combination of upper and lower body, and then a balance exercise. And we'll be doing each exercise for 2 sets, or you can think of that as 2 rounds. Okay, first one, let's work on the hips. So for this one, will just be, this one you can't really use dumbbells for unless you have like ankle weights. So a band might be easier, but you'll just be stepping on one end of the band. You're gonna take the loose end, you're gonna cross it over, and I usually like to kind of just hold it down on a chair, or if you want, you can also just hold it by the side of your leg. And what we're gonna be doing is that we're pushing the leg straight out. Keep your toes pointing forward though. So don't turn your toes out to the side. Keep pointing it towards your screen or forward. Okay, and try not to lean side to side too much, so you pretty much upper body stays in the same place, only your leg is moving. Okay, so here we go. So we're still going to be pushing out kind of gently or not in a jerky motion. and same thing on the way back. Okay, so it'll be 2, 2, 3, 4. 3, 2, 3, 4. So thank you. Okay, so yeah, so continues. I think let's call it 6, 2, 3, 4, 7, 2, 3, 4, 8, 2, 3, 4. So I think most people at this point we get a little tired on both hips already. So once again, the goal is not to get to a particular number, but get to the point where our muscles feel fatigued, and you can at most do 3 to 5 more repetitions. So at this point, I don't know what number I'm at, but I can feel both hips getting a little tired. I can probably do maybe 4 more at most. So I'm going to choose to stop there. It might be different for everyone else. Okay, so whenever you're ready, same thing. Once again, try to keep your toes pointing forward. So not this. So if you feel like at the front of your hips, you probably have your hips turned out too much, and you want to feel more on the side of the hips. Okay, so we must relax what you don't need to be tense in. You can either hold it here, you can hold it here. I usually like to hold it on the chair on the opposite side of my leg. And once again, 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 6, 2, 3, 4, 7, 2, 3, 4, 8, 2, 3, 4, 9, 2, 3, 4. So it might actually be the standing hip that's getting the more fatigue than the moving leg. I kind of lost control in that rep. Okay, so just once again, aim to start where you can feel like you can at most do 3 to 5 more repetitions, regardless of what number that may be. Okay, for the upper body, let's keep it simple today. Let's work on the bicep. So we probably all have seen the bicep curl. So for this one, you can either be standing or sitting, depending on how long your band is. So you pretty much just stepping in the middle of the band, and your goal is just to come up and down. So if your band is too short or too tight, do the sitting down so you have more room to work with. The important thing is still the control. So you want to bring it up kind of slowly, also lower it down slowly. Imagine you're crushing something in your elbow pit at the top, so you really give that muscle a little bit of a squeeze. But same kind of 4 counts, so it'll be everything kind of still, and just imagine crushing something in your elbow. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4. You can always try to check your posture while you're here. 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 6, 2, 3, 4, 7, 2, 3, 4, 8, 2, 3, 4, 9, 2, 3, 4. So at this point, you should feel like your muscles getting a little fatigued. So we talk about the lactic acid buildup. So that's where the kind of the sore feeling or burning feeling is coming from. So that's normal. We do want a little bit of that in order to stimulate muscle growth. So stop when you feel like you can do 3 to 5. If you feel like you can do 20 at a time, it might be more efficient or time efficient to maybe grab a heavier band or weight, or make it a little shorter so you're not going to like 30 repetitions in order to start to feel tired. That might be you might be better to use a heavier weight. Okay, so for the upper and lower body combination, so let's do a little more balance today. So let's do the standing bird dog. So this one, what you're gonna do is you're gonna hold on to a chair in the front. You're gonna try to reach back, try to reach. So let's do the legs first. So just so you know what we're doing. So you're just going to push the hips back, but also feel this part of the back of the butt squeezing. And what you're going to do is that you also do the same thing with the arms. So try to pull your shoulders up so that it forms a straight line pretty much. You can do same side or opposite side, up to you. Okay, but the idea is not to kind of lean, just lean and reach. So really try to see if you can squeeze this muscle, use the shoulders to get everything towards your back. Okay, so we're going to be leaning forward a little bit to start with. Choose one leg and one arm, and you're just going to reach as far as you can with both arm and leg, coming back. Okay, so today let's try to make it a little more difficult. See if you can bring your knee up and your elbow closer. So it doesn't have to touch, but just getting closer, and then go out. Okay, and once again, just try to get them a little bit closer together. If you want, you can let go of the other hand, so you have to, the other side has to work as well. Okay, so I think let's call this 5. Okay, bring them a little closer, almost like a little bit of a crunch. 6, 7. Okay, and the standing leg might actually be the most tiring one. 8, or whatever number that was. 9, 10. Okay, so that was actually really tiring on my other hip, but because that's the one that you need for balancing. But just try to see if you can just reach a little bit high overhead. See if you can squeeze the butt a little bit more overhead. Okay, so let's check everything out, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. Okay, starting position once again, kind of leaning forward. Check your spine, so we don't need to be doing this too much. See if you can make your spine look more like a straight line. Okay, you can either hold on tightly on the other hand or lightly touch, and see if you can just squeeze your butt, squeeze your shoulder muscle, back muscle to extend the arm. Get your elbow and the knee a little closer together. You can maybe breathe in. Okay, breathe out as you almost do a crunch. Let's call this 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, interesting enough, I felt it more in my abdominals for this side, less of the hips. So we're probably all a little bit imbalanced in some ways, or at least not symmetrical. Usually, if you're right-handed, usually try to, if you kick a ball, you probably kick the right leg as well. So our left leg is probably better at balancing if you're right-handed, and the opposite if you're left-handed. Okay. And let's do let's do an actual balance now. Let's keep it, actually let's keep it simple today. So what you're gonna do is still stand on one leg and see if you can balance first. So if you feel like you can't really balance well, use more support, so either by touching the chair, touching the floor with the other foot, or if you can't let go, see if you can just use less of one side. So instead of feet together, see if you can have your toes touching slightly, or even just more in a line. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna try to stay balanced, okay, and you're just gonna look in different directions. So our body tends to follow where our eyes goes. So when we look one way, your body tends to want to fall in the same direction, okay, or if you same thing other way. So we want to be able to separate that. So if you look down, don't start falling forward. If you look up, same idea, don't fall back. Okay, and you can try a little bit of a diagonal. So that might, we're not quite used to doing this, so that might be making it a little bit less stable. You can try the other direction as well. If it makes you dizzy, don't do this. Do this more slowly. Okay, and when you're ready, same thing other side. So find once again a balance point where you can kind of balance. Maybe you can feel a little bit wobbly, so there's a little bit of challenge. Okay, but not to the point where you fall. Okay, and when you're ready, just kind of look side to side. Okay, maybe up and down. You can move your entire body if you want to. So really, try to almost look between your legs behind you. That might be a little more challenging. You really try to look up. You try to look diagonally. Okay, all the meanwhile, try to balance. Okay, and shake it out. So our hips might be a little more fatigued tomorrow and the day after, probably. Okay, we're gonna repeat the same one. So it's pretty much the same exercises for one more set. Okay, so see if you can remember how to do those. But the first one, once again, we're stepping on the one end of the band, anchor it down the other side. It doesn't actually matter how you anchor it down. And you're kicking your leg out to the side and then coming back. So if it was very easy for you before, ways you can progress. So for example, you can just do more of them. You can use a heavier band. You can change the way you're doing it. So instead of actually stepping there, it'll be harder if you just stay kind of on one leg. So all the muscles have to work longer because you don't give it that half a second to a second rest in between. And you can, that's pretty much the way you can make this one more difficult. You can also just hold it at the top for as long as you can. That's kind of a different type of muscle contraction. Okay, I have no idea how many counts we add, but once again, it doesn't matter too much as long as we challenge muscles. And don't have to rush in between exercise. This is also rest as well. So some people might ask, like, how long should we rest in between each set of exercise? Same idea as when we plan as checking like how often we exercise. So if you feel like you can put the same amount of effort in as the previous set, that's probably a good place to start. So if you feel like at first you cannot do like 10 reps, but second time you can only do 5, you probably might need just a little bit more rest. Okay, but whenever we are ready, so toes pointing forward, 1, 2, control the way back, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So usually we can't go to the exact same number, but roughly in the ballpark. So if you can do like 20 times the first time, but only like 5 the second time, yeah, take a longer rest. Okay, second one, the bicep curl. And just to change things up a little bit, so instead of doing it both arms at the same time, let's just do a variation of it where you do one hand and up. So we're just going to go up one side, coming back down, Same thing another way. So 2, 3. Still try to squeeze a one in your elbow. I lost count again, but let's call this 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we didn't go for a higher number because we are doing only one side at a time. So we still want to reach to maybe 10 to 15 times on each arm. So I think we're somewhere around 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So you might actually find this is actually easier because you pretty much your muscles have more rest. So when you're, this is my right arm is working, my left side is resting, and same thing, but vice versa. So you might find it's actually easier. You don't get the same kind of that burning feeling or sore feeling. So when you're not more tired that day, you can kind of do this variation just to get a little easier. Okay, back to the bird dog. So this one, standing hip width apart, leaning forward, get your spine nice and long. So this is short. You don't have to overdo it, but somewhere in the middle. And your goal is to squeeze your butt to get your heels as far back as you feel comfortable. Reach up on the opposite side. Okay, and if you can, see if you can get elbows and your knee close together. If you can also touch, try to get them to touch, and even squeeze them together and going back out. You can kind of breathe out as you come in. So let's call it 3. Breathe in as you come out. Okay, so compressing the body, breathe out. Expanding the body, breathe in. Okay, I think it's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and for me, my right hip gets really tired with this one. Okay, check things out. And just switch sides when you're ready. For whole body stuff, we probably need a longer rest in between. Okay, but here we go. So, butt back, chest tall, squeezing the butt together, heels back, reaching overhead, breathing in. Okay, breathing out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And it might be actually because we're doing the abs, is working regardless of which arm you're working. So the second set might be the one that's when our abdominal muscles start to feel more fatigued. And that's where you get maybe a little bit of that sore feeling over there. Okay, and just one more set of the balance. Let me just check the time. Okay, we're good. Okay, so still standing on one leg, or could be in line, could be toes touching. Okay, but let's try to find a balance point. Let's add our arms a little bit this time. So let's take kind of a hand forward. Okay, you can stick our thumb as well. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna just focus on your thumb. Okay, so that can make it a little bit more challenging already because you're less aware of the environment around. Okay, and just try to follow your thumb. So as you move your hands out, see if you can keep your eyes focused on it. Okay, and maybe in versus 5. So we do use our vision a lot for balance. So even if we're not aware of it, our vision, our peripheral vision actually helps you balance. So sometimes when we really focus on something, that might make it a little harder. Okay, so same idea, but if you can also move it up and down. Oops. Okay, the weight of our arms is also kind of disrupting our balance a little bit. Okay, if you want to make it really difficult or more difficult, do a circular motion all the way around. And that's that for me. Okay, check it out. And when we are ready, we can just do the same thing on the other side. Okay, find a balance point. Stick one hand out. Use less of the other hand. And just track our thumb with our eyes. Ooh, pretty bad at this side. Or worse than my other side is. Okay, and you can always try up and down. You can do kind of the diagonal motion like we did before. Just any way that you can think of, really. But we're just exposing our body in to maybe a different stimulus. Okay, and let's shake it out. Whew. Remember to drink enough water. We have about 7 minutes left. Good. Okay, so let's do a little bit of stretching. So I'm going to sit down because my hips are getting a little tired. Okay. Let me get a little closer to the camera. Okay, as usual, let's stretch out the stuff that we use. Let's start off with let's do the neck first. So this is the one where we lightly put the head down and try to reach towards the floor on the other side, or you can just hold on to a chair and lean away. Deep breath in and out. Holding for 3 to 5 deep breaths. When you're ready, just look towards the floor a little bit more. Come back to center, pause as long as you need to, and repeat on the other side. Okay, so I'm grabbing the chair and then leaning away, so I'm just pulling my shoulders down. And look towards the floor. Okay, our usual prayer stretch. So palms together, fingers together. Drop the wrist down. Try to keep your fingers together as well. So most people, they're really tighter in general. The fingers might start to curl like this. So see if you can, as much as you can, just keep everything together. Maybe just apply a little more pressure from hand to hand. And shake everything up. Okay, hips worked hard. So our usual figure 4-1, where we have one leg on knee, pulling our knee towards the opposite shoulders a little bit more. Excuse me. Be gentle with this one, but you can also just lightly press your knee down If you start to feel like pressure in your knees, don't push it too hard. If you start to feel uncomfortable in your hip joints, also don't, same idea, don't push it too hard. Switch legs whenever you feel like it. Okay, so pulling it towards our opposite shoulder first. And then just gently opening up the other way. And once again, just be gentle with this one. Okay, and back of the leg. So sitting on the edge of the chair, and then we're gonna lean forward until we just feel a stretch in the back of the thigh, back of the knee. And we're gonna add just we're gonna hang on here for a little bit first. Taking deep breaths in and out. I'm gonna add a little bit of a kind of a nerve. You can think of that as a stretch, but what we're gonna do is you're gonna just point your toes forward a little bit and then pull your toes towards yourself or the ceiling. As you pull your toes towards yourself, you might feel a little bit more of a stretch. That's actually a nerve that's getting kind of more of a stretch out because this muscle here is not actually getting longer. It's a nerve that goes from the hip down to close to the lower leg. That's getting stretched. So don't do this too much. Sometimes you can irritate it. So let's do about only 5 times. And we can just switch over to the other side. So same idea, just hang out here for a little longer first. Deep breaths in and out. And when you're ready, just kind of point your toes forward a little bit more and then try to pull your toes towards yourself a little bit more. Again, only about 5 times or so. Okay, and last one, let's stand back up and go into the back of the chair. So one foot forward, one foot back. Widen your sense of balance. Get your hips to facing forward. Your both feet facing forward. Pushing the hips forward while keeping the back leg straight. And whatever leg is back, you can reach the same side arm. So this my left leg is back, so I'm reaching my left arm up to the ceiling. And then just a little bit sideways and a little bit backwards. So I'm diagonally reaching that way. Okay, deep breath in and out. And whenever you're ready, just last one, just on the side. So same idea. Don't have your feet or your toes pointing out to the side. Turn everything forward. Push the hip forward while keeping the back leg straight. My right leg is back, so I'm going to be moving my right arm overhead and a little bit backwards. And try to take a deep breath in and out. Okay, and lastly, just shake everything out. So try to relax everything. Imagine you're shaking the muscles off our bones almost. So if something doesn't move, it means that you're still tensing up. So see if you can shake everything out. Okay, so we're actually 1 minute over time, but thank you for coming, everyone. I'll see everyone next week. Good night. You're welcome. Bye-bye.